So here's my list on the best tarantulas you can purchase when you're on a small budget. Hello everybody, welcome to this latest episode. I am your host Robbie and this is Robbie's Talking Teas. Tarantula content for tarantula lovers just like yourselves. In today's video I've set myself a little challenge. It's coming up to Christmas, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't treat yourself. So now I know funds are low for a lot of people because you're out there buying gifts for all your friends, family and whatnot. But it's still nice to treat yourself as it's Christmas. So today's challenge, I've got a low budget of just £20. And with that £20, I've got to get an enclosure, everything to fill the enclosure, and also an awesome tarantula for the collection. So what am I going to do? I'm going to show you what species are best to buy and also those setups, the cheapest and best ways to do it. That, you know, the quality's still there and your tarantula's going to thrive. But before I show you all that, hit that like button. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Let's get going on the challenge. So let's talk about enclosures, bearing in mind we've only got a £20 budget. Now when you're in this scenario, the best thing to do is pop down to your local pound shop, Tesco's, Wilkinson's or somewhere like that, or even look on the Spider Shop. Spider Shop have got these little plastic tubs. They're not expensive, you can buy them in bulk, they're awesome. Wilkinson's, tubs like this, all you have to do is put air holes in them. Very, very cheap. The most you're going to pay for one of these is probably about £5. That's nothing. Tesco's, everyone asks me about these arboreal enclosures I get for slings. These are like £3. They're perfect. All you do is get a little soldering iron, put ventilation holes in it. But what are we putting in there? Substrate. Now I know a lot of people don't get on with just using cocoa fibre, but for the purpose of raising slings, this is all you really need is cocoa fibre. This is $2.99 on the Spider Shop website. By itself, inexpensive. You can't go wrong with it. By the time, like maybe if this starts moulding up, if you're housing a moisture dependent species, by the time anything's wrong with it, you're probably going to be rehousing anyway, and you're going to be looking for something a bit more suitable for the tarantula, which by the way is something I'm going to be talking about in my podcast on Wednesday, is what my substrate mix is. So if you're interested in learning about different mixes and what I use, which is better for different types of tarantulas, then make sure you watch the podcast. But anyway, $2.99 on the Spider Shop. We're going to round these up. We're going to say, just say £4 maximum for an enclosure. Cork bark as well, you can get it on the Spider Shop. I think it's $1.99, I believe, per 100 grams of cork bark. I'll look it up. I'll pop a picture up now so you can see how much it is. But cork bark isn't expensive. Water dishes, you can just use bottle tops. Just use plastic bottle tops that you get off your drinks, like off milk or bottles of Coke or something like that. So the setup's very inexpensive. Let's say, for example, as a round figure, for an enclosure, for substrate, for cork bark and a water dish, we've spent £5. So that leaves us with £15 for a tarantula. So what tarantula are we going to get? Well, here's my best picks. So I know what you're thinking. You've got your enclosure, you've got it set up, whether it's an arboreal one or a terrestrial one, and you're thinking to yourself, what species is going in there? And that's something I asked myself, and I couldn't pick just one. So you know what I'm going to do? Seeing as you're all watching this and you're all different experience levels, I'm going to give you 3 of the best New World terrestrials. I'm going to give you 3 of the best Old World terrestrials. I'm going to give you 3 New World arboreals and 3 Old World arboreals. So you get to take your pick. Now all of these will come in below £15, and the reason why I've chosen these species is just they're my own personal preference. I think they're the most stunning. I think they get to a nice size. I think they're good eaters. I think their ease of care is above anything, any other tarantula out there. They're not difficult, and you won't be disappointed once you pick one of these up. So let's show you what I chose. So let's start off with the best terrestrial New Worlds. First up we have a camphor scurrier geniculata. Now this species is absolutely stunning, a very quick grower, and as you can see only £6 over at the spider shop. Now a couple of things to take note of with these: they are fast growers, they are bolty, they do like to kick hairs, and they do have a lightning fast feeding response, which for new keepers can be intimidating. So take that into account if you're picking one of these up, that you don't put your fingers into the enclosure, because it may get mistaken for food at some point and you do run the risk of getting a little bite or nip, and nobody wants that in the hobby, especially after watching my last video. It's definitely not a good thing. Another good thing about these guys, they do get to be quite a beefy tarantula, so if all of you that are looking to pick one up, that's something you're into, check out a geniculata. Next up we have gramostola polk. These guys are also stunning and only £10 over at the spider shop, but unlike a camphor scurrier geniculata, these guys take forever to grow, so that's something you definitely need to consider when picking these up, but otherwise absolutely gorgeous. Last but not least, everyone's favourite brachypelma hamori. Now this one here was the very first species I ever picked up in the hobby, and for £9 over at Spider Planet, you can't go wrong. Very long lived, females can reach about 25 to 30 years. They're good eaters, their temperament, they're very calm. They can be very flicky with their urticating hairs, but generally they are no hassle whatsoever. Now take that with a pinch of salt, because sometimes you do get the odd one which does have an attitude problem, but from what I've found, it's very few and far between. Looks wise, out of all 3, for me the hamori, it comes out on top, followed by that polk. But for me the hamori just pips it. Absolutely stunning species, definitely worth picking up, brilliant for new keepers and experienced keepers if you just want something nice to sit on the side and it's not going to die on you and is bulletproof. So let's get into the New World arboreals. First up we have Sammelpass cambridgei, £6 over at So Many Legs. You can't go wrong for that price. These guys are quick growers, great eaters, easy to care for. They do like to make a little web tunnel, so be careful when feeding, because sometimes you can't see where the spider is and they are lightning fast. They also do have very potent venom, unlike most New Worlds, these are considered to be on the higher end of the spectrum because they don't have those urticating hairs. So if you take that into consideration, definitely pick one of these up if you think you can handle that. Next up is an even feistier species, Pseudoclemoris gigas. £8. These are stunning, absolutely stunning, but their temperament, they are more feisty, and these really are teleporters. In the blink of an eye, they can be in one spot in the enclosure and then they're in another spot. Other than that, if you think you can handle that and you've got the money to go ahead and buy one of these, I definitely recommend it. They're exciting, they're beautiful to look at, and my ones are out in the open quite often. They don't tend to hide away, which is a real bonus. Next up, pearce armenia. £6, very cheap, well within our budget. Again, like the Cambridge eye, these are believed to have quite potent venom due to having no urticating hairs, but I think you'll find that black and orange coloration is absolutely to die for. Look at the chevrons on those legs. How spectacular are they? Great feeding response, fast growers, beautiful. And definitely a species I plan on breeding in the future. And looks wise, for me, that's why it's top of the arboreals list we have in this video. It's the orange and the black, it just does it for me. Next up, we have those New World arboreals. Here we have Omophymus chiodate, the Malaysian earth tiger. Now this is more on the expensive side, it is £14, so it just comes in that budget. But these guys are absolutely stunning. Be careful, as it is a New World, these are flighty, feisty, and they do have very potent venom. But looks wise, the colorations on these guys once they reach them adult sizes are absolutely beautiful, so it's definitely worth picking one of these up. Now you do want to keep that substrate a little bit on the moist side. As you can see, these do tend to burrow as slings, so will appreciate being kept on that moist side. But once they grow up and you see them out and about, they're to die for. Absolutely fantastic species. Next up, we have one of my favourite Peace litheria, subfusca highland. This one's £13.33. So again, on that higher end of the spectrum of our budget, but comes in. If it was any more, I would be absolutely gutted that I wouldn't be able to pick one up. Now these guys are stunning. Those blacks, those yellows, those cream colours on those legs, and the purples. Once these guys reach their adult sizes, they just jump out on you. Feeding response, as you'll see in a second, these guys are lightning quick and they have very, very potent venom. So again, new keepers, it's not advised that you get one of these if you're really worried about whether you're going to be able to handle it. I would stay away for quite a while and just prepare yourself. But once you're ready, definitely consider picking up Peace litheria subfusca highland. There's also subfusca lowland, but for me the highland did just pip it. The lowland was a little bit more expensive. Next up, we have its very close cousin, Peace litheria ornata. Now there's a debate whether this one or the rufilata are the largest of the pokies. Now the two Peace litheria I have shown are very, very fast growers, but these ones get to those big
9 to 10 inch leg spans. So that's definitely something you need to consider if you're thinking about buying one of these old world arboreals. Feeding response, fantastic. These guys are great eaters. They're easy to care for. They do like that little bit of extra humidity in the enclosure. That's another thing you need to take into account, but definitely worth picking up. Moving on, last but not least, old world terrestrials. First up, we have Ceratogyrus marshalli, the unicorn horned baboon. This one's £6 over at TSS. Absolutely stunning. Great feeding response. And check out that little horn on the head. Every time I see that, I'm absolutely amazed, and that's one of the reasons why this made it onto my list. Cheap, stunning, and has something different about it that you don't get with other tarantulas. This one was definitely a hungry little boy or girl, unsexed, but hopefully in future I'll do a care and husbandry video on these and I'll be able to tell you what it is. Here we have its cousin, Ceratogyrus darlingi. This one's £10. And again, stunning tarantula, and another one of those horned baboons. Great feeding response, easy to care for. Both these species do like to burrow, though I forgot to mention that with the marshalli. Even though I said this is a terrestrial list, they burrow. They do dig a little burrow. Are they considered fossorial? I'm not sure. You can keep these terrestrially and they do web up and do just fine like that. Look at that fang action. I'm sorry, I'm watching this video footage and I'm just blown away by my own footage. That is why this species made the list. I can't keep my eyes off them, especially when they grow those horns. They're just otherworldly to me. They just stand out a mile, and for the price that they are, like, they beat a lot of more expensive species out there for me, hands down. I think that's why I've got 3 of these in the collection. They just blow me away every single time. So that's the first 2 Ceratogyrus on the list, the marshalli and the darlingi. But can anyone guess what the last old world terrestrial tarantula is going to be on this list? No? Well, let's give you a clue. It's orange, it's feisty, and everyone, for some reason, is petrified of it. What is it? You guessed it. Pterantulas marinus, or the OBT. £7. These guys don't deserve the reputation they've got if kept correctly. They're absolutely stunning. They don't need any special requirements, any extra humidity, just a water dish, some substrate and a hide. What more do you want in a tarantula? Give it enough space to create burrows, to hide away, and these guys really are a great tarantula to keep. They won't give you any issues. Great feeding response, dirt cheap. You can't go wrong. So there you have it, the OBT. So there you have it. Those are my top choices for tarantulas on a budget. Now they all do come in under £20, including the setups, if you go down those cheap avenues. So there's no excuse for you guys to say, I've got no money, I can't do it. I've just proved to you, £20 or less, you can definitely get a whole setup and an
absolutely stunning species to put in it. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. This is the end of it. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's watched, liked and subscribed to the channel over the past year. We are reaching the end of 2021 and it's been absolutely awesome. Hopefully in 2022 we can get a lot bigger and a lot better, and also I'll be trying my best to bring you even more awesome content. So thank you to everyone that's come and watched and supported me over the past year. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to end the video here, but before we go, also don't forget we are doing a 2,000 subscriber giveaway. 2,000 subscribers, I'll be giving one of you the chance to win a T. Celedonia. So if that's something you're interested in, go over and watch my gramostola rosea video and write T. Celedonia in the comments. You've also got to be subscribed to the channel, but once those 2 boxes are checked, you'll be entered. So thanks, I appreciate it. Have a great Christmas, a brilliant new year. I'll see you in the next video.